Hey guys, here's another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. Let me start off by talking about what happened to me. Those of you that saw the thumbnail for this video might have got a hint. One thing that I do for fun and exercise is mountain bike, and I ride really tough trails, pretty much black diamond. It's about the only thing we ride, other than easier trails. Getting to black diamond trails to go bombing down those. Anyway, so yesterday, riding with my buddies at Aliso Woods. Those of you that are local probably know where that is. Riding down a black diamond trail, and I missed a turn. I kind of washed out over a little berm, and I basically went off kind of nose heavy on about a 6 or 7 foot drop off, and pretty much landed on this wrist. And so, as you might guess, looking at it, it is broken. So the end of the radius and the end of the ulna, so the two long forearm bones, both of those has a fracture near its end where it kind of goes up against the wrist bones. Today it started showing a lot of bruising, swelling, maybe worse than yesterday. I don't know. I feel like the swelling kind of goes down a little further into the arm, and this is how my hand is kind of sitting now. I can't really straighten it out any more than that. So it is pretty much a complete disaster. I've got an appointment with a orthopedic surgeon on Friday to kind of see what we're going to do, if they need to go and put any screws in anywhere or just put a cast on it and let nature kind of take its course. Anyway, as you can imagine, I have pretty limited use of this hand right now. I can kind of flex my fingers like that, without too much trouble. But if I go to actually grasp or pull anything like you need to do all day when working on cars, it's super painful. I mean, it feels like somebody's like stabbing me in the wrist with a knife. So it's kind of putting a pretty big damper on what I can do as a mechanic. So, I'm dealing with that now. I'll get over it. It'll heal, and I'll be back to my old self, but it's probably going to take realistically a month and a half, maybe more. So I'll try and do the things that I can in the meantime here in the shop. Probably be working a bit slower than I normally would, because I'm having to try and figure out how to do a lot of things with one hand or, so on. But, anyway, that is enough about me. So why don't we talk about what actually happened in the shop today. So Rafa finished up the 36 horse for the 59 bus, the one on the right there. There were just a few little details left. Fuel pump went on today. Ignition cables went on. He finished the air cleaner, finished clamping the ignition wire tube on here. We were waiting for a couple of these clamps to come back from powder coating that needed to be redone, that they didn't come out that great first time around. Doesn't usually happen with these guys, but these things happen. But anyway, they redid those, no charge, of course. So this motor is done, and we'll probably go in the bus in the next day or so. I think that Rafa's got about everything else, and myself, we've pretty much done everything else on the back of that bus that needs to be done before the motor goes in. Gas tank is in, all those things that have to go in on a bus before the motor goes in, I think are pretty much done. We're waiting on a Bowden tube. We thought we had one, we didn't. We'll go ahead and install that before putting the motor in. And so that's kind of exciting. I think this is actually going to go in the bus probably tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then the next day. So that was most of Rafa's day. I don't know if I mentioned before, there was an issue on this bus with the shift rod position. So Rafa did some cutting and some welding today and got that fixed. So in the process, I think, of installing that and getting that all set up. It's just, one of those little things. This bus has had a lot of metal work done on it, and sometimes things just don't line up the way that you would hope they do when you go to put it together. So I think those are kind of the main things today on the bus that Rafa was doing. Again, just getting things back here ready to stab the motor in it. I think other than the Bowden tube, it's pretty much ready to go. So let's talk about what I did today, which again was not a lot with this mess going on here. But what I did do, which doesn't take much strength, luckily, and you can do mostly with one hand, is I went ahead and installed the front brake calipers. So we got new calipers. So I installed those, installed the brake hoses, the hard brake lines, installed the master cylinder, which I had previously painted, again the hard lines. So pretty much got the brakes all done. Obviously the master cylinder still needs to go in, but there's no point in putting that in because we're going to paint this front trunk compartment, so leaving all that stuff out. But other than putting the master cylinder in and bleeding the brakes are pretty much all connected now, front and back. I still need to put the brake light switches on the master cylinder. I should be getting those in the morning. Only other thing I did was I went ahead and assembled the steering coupler setup here with some new hardware and freshened up parts, so it's looking as good and as new as everything else on the front of this car. The only other thing we did today was we have the material now for the 64 Beetle. You can see this pinstripe material here for the seats. So today we picked out a material to go with that the seats have this material on the seating surfaces, and then the backs and the sides of the seats are a solid color, and then there's piping. So we picked out those materials today. So this is the solid color that we're going to use. This is actually a color commonly used in buses. It's like a dark gray, I think. I don't remember the exact name of it, but and then we got a piping that'll go with it too. So once we pick up the piping, which should hopefully be tomorrow, then we'll get these materials off to our upholstery guy, and he's got the seat frames are all ready to go. So yeah, the interior for this bus should be going together here pretty soon, and hopefully the body for it will be done here in, I don't know, a couple weeks maybe. We'll see. We've had some delays on that. But anyway, that is pretty much it for today, guys. Again, my progress on anything I'm working on is going to be pretty slow here. So for the foreseeable future, while I'm dealing with this and trying to get it healed, in the meantime, I'm mostly one-armed here. And I think I forgot to mention I'm actually left-handed, so it's really a bummer that it's this one. This is my more dexterous hand under normal circumstances, so kind of sucks. I did actually break my right wrist mountain biking about 23 years ago or so, so I guess now I've got matching broken wrists. Anyway, that is it for today, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.